What's up, nerds? Before I get into this review, I want to talk about something super cool. As you know, I'm a huge fan of finding new forms of entertainment and sharing them with you. And today I'd like to tell you about a fantastic podcast that you can listen to for free. SHU is a superhero podcast that has recently come to my attention, and it is fantastic. The podcast is similar to a radio drama, and it follows the stories of two RPG tabletop games, one of which is a group of heroes and the other one is a group of villains, and they are both in the same canonical universe. It's a very cool show and very, very funny, as listening to people play tabletop games often is. I mean, I've had my fair share of D&D games, and most of the time I found myself lying on the floor laughing my ass off, wearing elf ears and holding a wooden sword in my hand. I got really into D&D. Anyways, moving on. The SHU podcast is very, very cool. I really enjoy it. I think it's super funny, super entertaining, especially if you are a fan of tabletop games. The show can also be a bit explicit, but you guys have terrible, filthy mouths, so I think it's right up your alley. Seriously though, these guys have been working their asses off, and it really shows. Definitely check it out. You won't be sorry. You can listen to the podcast here at shousestudio.libsyn.com. Libsyn. And definitely be sure to follow them on Twitter at SHU Podcast. Those links will also be in the description down below. Anyways, let's get on with the review. What's up, nerds? Steph Goza here, and today I am reviewing Morris of America. Morris of America is about a 13-year-old American boy living in Germany, basically trying to survive his adolescence. It is a prime example of a coming-of-age story, and damn, is it good. This movie is funny, it's entertaining, it's got heart, it's got emotion, and it is such a great representation of adolescence. I don't think I've ever seen a coming-of-age story told this well and this realistically ever. Because I feel like pretty much every coming of age story is like kind of follows the same formula. You've got this like quirky young boy who's ugly and nerdy, yet he's played by this attractive, quirky, awkward actor. These are very often Michael Cera types, and it's just this awkward boy trying to get through life, and there's a girl and he loves her and she's so out of his league, but for some reason she likes him and she falls for him, and then they live happily ever after and he's no longer a nerd. But that's not really what adolescence is like. That's really not a true telling of coming of age, because that's not real. Oh, I'm so awkward. I don't know what I'm doing, but for some reason my awkwardness makes me really cute and funny, and I'm actually not awkward at all. I'm just a really attractive young person, and I'm funny and I'm great and everyone loves me, but I'm gonna pretend like I suck and nobody likes me and I'm a big nerd and my life is ruined. No, you're an unfairly attractive actor playing an awkward, quirky character who really isn't that awkward and quirky at all. This is bullshit. But what I love about Morris of America is that Morris is a very average looking 13-year-old boy, and he acts very much like a 13-year-old boy would. He doesn't like sit in his room and play guitar looking beautifully and singing sad songs. He sits in his room and makes up really inappropriate rap songs and dances in his underwear. And he masturbates and he fantasizes and he does lots of gross adolescent boy things because that's what they do. And what I really appreciate about this film is that it shows a lot of like the side of people and how they act when no one is watching them. Because very much of this movie is just us watching Morris behave as an adolescent boy would, as if no one's there. He's just in his room doing his thing, and we're just creepily watching him do that. And we see this side of his dad too. His dad is often alone and trying to figure out his own life. And we see him do some kind of weird things too, but they're also sort of normal things that you would expect someone to do, but you don't normally really see that in a movie. And I just really liked that. It's a really cool window into people's lives when they think no one's watching them. But I just think this movie captured that so well, and everything about this movie I love. I will say though that this movie is a little peculiar in its format because there's not really a plot. Like there's not a beginning, a middle, and an end. There's not really a climax. There's no real problem that Morris has to face. It's kind of like his whole life and his whole situation is the problem, and his whole adolescence is his problem. And when the movie starts, he's already in that position, and when the movie ends, he's still in that position, but he's kind of grown a little bit from it, and he's made some choices, and he's blossomed a bit. I really like Morris. I just like, he's so adorable. He's just this cute little kid who wants to be a rapper, and he's so funny, and him and his dad are so funny, and their relationship is so interesting, and I love it. This movie really, really encaptures the embodiment of youth. Every scene is just like a perfectly painted picture of how young people are. And there's a variety of different young people. They aren't all just like this stereotypical like young adolescent group of people. It's like they're all very different people, and Morris is very different from everyone that he meets, and it's really interesting seeing them all interact, and it just felt very realistic, and I was really engrossed in this world, and I just mwah. And while the plot wasn't really like this story, it was just like a bunch of different things being thrown together, I still think the pacing was really good. Like the transition from one scene to another and the transition of emotions and feelings that you get throughout the movie was really good. There was a lot of humor and then there was a lot of drama, but it was all very balanced, like just really, really well. And I feel like the interactions between characters and their dialogue was written so well. Everything felt so realistic. I feel like I'm just trying to shove down your throats that this movie is really realistic. It's a really believable movie with really believable characters and a really believable storyline, and everything is just like... The only thing that I'm a little bit iffy about is the ending, because the whole movie was so good and I was just like, yes, I'm really into this. I want to see where this goes. I want to see what Morris does. I want to see how his life turns out. And then the ending was just kind of disappointing. I don't really know what I wanted it to be, but it wasn't what I was expecting it to be. To me, it just felt like it kind of ended and I was just like, oh, it's over? Okay. Huh. So I don't know, the ending was a little weird for me. But other than that, I really enjoyed this movie. I would probably watch it again. I'd probably buy it. It's definitely an indie movie with that kind of weird, obscure indie movie feeling, so if you're not into that, you might not like this movie, but I really enjoyed it. I love seeing movies that are different from the norm. I love really weird, obscure, interesting shots and awkwardly long takes and like anything weird in a movie. Yes, I'm in. And I mean, it's not that weird, don't get me wrong. It's not weird, it's just different. And I am so into that. So yeah, Morris of America was fantastic. I really liked it, aside from the ending. I'd probably give it like a solid B+ or A-. So let me know if you saw it and tell me what you thought about it in the comments. Also, let me know what your favorite indie movie is, because I am a huge fan of weird indie movies. They give me life. Side note, one that I rewatched recently was We Need to Talk About Kevin, and if you have not seen that movie, you need to go watch it right now because it is fucking amazing and really disturbing. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate all of your views. It means the world to me. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video, and until next time, I'm Steph Koza, and this is Rated N.